Welcome to Taking Care of Mom and Dad. Today we have Kara from Senior Helpers. Welcome, Kara. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
17, I decided to move to UK in order to have a better life and support my family back in Turkey. I got a job as a caregiver at the memory care, and this funded my education. So I gained 2 degrees out of it, and I care during my time as a caregiver. Also, my personal experience with my grandmother, who we have a living caregiver, and that made me realize how important the caregiving is in order for our seniors to stay at home and be independent, which my grandmother's now enjoys.
And that gave you a whole different perspective.
It did. And, doing the job hands-on in memory care and my grandmother's health declining and we're looking for caregivers for her made me realize, this is my passion. I could help others. I could turn this into business. And believe me, it took a lot of work, a lot of determination to open this business what I have now. But I have great pleasure of helping others, just like those helped my grandmother to stay independent in her home.
Yeah. Do you mind going into what that process is, a company like that, Senior Helpers?
Sure, Senior Helpers. So I did a lot of research. I interviewed a lot of different companies, looked at, other home care providers. So did my research, and I looked at the Senior Helpers came into my mind for one. The biggest reason I chose Senior Helpers was the location. I wanted to stay local. I wanted to provide jobs in my community and help seniors in my community. And Senior Helpers gave me that opportunity. The territory I have right now is where I live.
That's wonderful.
I can connect with my clients. We go to the same grocery shop, probably. Our kids grow up, may went to same school. So definitely that was the biggest differentiator with Senior Helpers.
Yeah, and it makes it more intimate.
Correct.
And I find that people are more apt to connect with you.
Yeah, so, it's all about the trust.
Yes.
And if you tell them the street you live in, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I bike there," or "Oh yeah, I go to that grocery store that you go to," that builds trust.
Yes.
Because let's face it, they let in this stranger into their home to take care of their loved ones. Right. So trust have to be there. And I always tell my clients, go with your gut feeling. This is why our assessments are free. So we show up in your home, you ask us any questions you have, and look at my answers, see who I am, and go with your gut. And if they, some of the cases where mom and dad are resistant, we just call it meet and greet. But the real name is we call it life profile assessment, which I'll explain later on what it is. But so client calls and we get to know them a little bit over the phone, ask them why they called us, and then we can, then we tell them that our assessments are free, no obligation. We want to come to your home and give you your options. And we want you to get to know us, ask us all the questions you need to in person, and then we can go away and we'll leave you to make a decision if we are the right fit for your family.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Thank you for sharing that. Going along with that, what services do you offer?
So we are non-medical home care. So we help with showering, meal planning, light housekeeping, laundry, driving them to appointments, doctor, hair, errands, picking up prescriptions. And one of the most important things is we keep them connected to community. So we as Senior Helpers, we are affiliated with all of the community centers in the areas we serve. So they have this great sheet of activities to go. Our caregivers are there to take them to those activities too.
Oh, wonderful. Now, is that at the, you have the senior center there, like in town? And then
every town has their own senior center or a library or a facility that have some free events.
Yeah.
We put together this, every month it comes out to all of our clients, month of activities, and most of them are free, which is wonderful.
Yes. Yeah.
And some we sponsor too. So if there's any event going in my office, we have first aid class coming up in September. That is open to all of our caregivers and all of our clients and their families. So those kind of things, we let them know, and they're able to attend because our caregivers can drive them to those activities and make sure they get there safely and back to their homes.
That's wonderful because I've done a pile of interviews recently, and you're actually the first one to mention about the activities. And I have,
Oh, that is so important.
to me, that is such an important role plays in that person because you don't. Obviously, all home care companies try to incorporate that. You know, a sheet, sending it to families, however you send it to them, and letting them know
Mhm.
that our caregivers do this. We provide these activities for them.
Again, my grandmother comes to my mind. You know, she loves going for walks, and now she's in a wheelchair. But should she stop going for walks? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know, she loves gardening, so we have one of those high tables where she can still
Oh,
able
how
to.
nice.
So
Yeah.
those things always on my mind. When I offer these things, it's so important. Loneliness, isolation is one of
Ah,
the biggest issue right now in senior community.
yeah. And you nailed it with being able to provide those activities. On a day that is difficult for you, because we all have them, and I'm sure you have a lot of them, what keeps you going and motivated?
It is definitely a challenging industry. You need to be a strong-minded person and always look for positive. I know it's, you know, sounds easy, but it's not. But one of my biggest fulfillments is helping families. When I see a client happy, or when I see, we always ask to family members and the client, what is your goal?
Mm,
What are our goal is? What are you trying to get from our caregivers? And they say whatever the goal is.
yeah.
And when I see that achieved, that is my motivation to show up
Oh,
every day for work.
wonderful.
And there's one little story I want to share with you because this happened just last week. I showed up at a client's home. There's no answer, but I know she lives alone. And we spoke 30 minutes ago. I know she's in there. No family members available, all live abroad. So anyway, we saved her life. I called 911 and she was passed out in her home. So
Oh,
imagine my team's pride. She's fine. She
yeah.
was
Oh, good.
hydrated, low blood pressure, but to be able to do that for somebody, like we were
Wow.
there. I didn't give up, you know, we didn't just leave because she didn't answer the phone.
Right.
Again, that feeling told me I should stay and call the police, and my team were cheering, and that took us for a
Oh,
whole week of
oh, what a beautiful story.
oh, and there's a lot more, you know, we see things
Yeah,
day-to-day basis, but our motivation is helping people and seeing the difference in the home,
right.
what keeps us going.
One of the things that you brought out, I'm going to be reading from here because I can't,
Sure.
I guess, a meet and greet team page on your website. And I love one of the sentences that was brought out here. Um, it starts with her, which is you saying her. It says her experience taught her that in addition to solid policies and operational procedures, it's the quality of the people in your organization who make the biggest difference. And to me, that says a whole lot about your hiring process of who you
Mhm.
hire and who you take in. Can you go through that a little bit for me?
Sure. We are extremely passionate about hiring the right people. So our process obviously starts with a phone interview, then face-to-face interview, we check references. And one of the things I did differently is that all of my office team here, you read their bio, they all come from the field. We all been a caregiver at some point, worked in facilities. We know a good caregiver when we see one, all of us.
Yes.
So we are 5 of us in the office right now. Anybody walks in, we know if that's the right person for our organization or not, because we were a caregiver ourselves. So I think that's one of my biggest strength in my office, that we come from the background of care and we have personal experiences with our families too. And we hire the best caregivers. And if for whatever reason, and we train them too. We have our own training center here in the office. So those who never been a caregiver but passionate about it, we train them. We upskill all of our caregivers here in the office.
It'll be interesting to know what kind of training that your office provides.
Mm-hmm. So apart from the location that I told you about senior helpers, why I chose senior helpers, second biggest factor was how much they spend in training. They invest a lot of money in training. We always bring in new things to teach our caregivers. One of the things they mandate is having a training center. So at the back of my office here, we have what looks like somebody's bedroom, living room, kitchen, and shower.
Ah, interesting.
Mm-hmm. So once a month, whatever the month is, like June was a brain awareness month. So we did classes around that. We do Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, because we believe if the caregiver is confident, if they know their stuff, they can provide a great care.
Yeah.
So training is very important to us. Every month we have something going on. Like I told you, September is the CPR. So we do those training, sometimes nurse-led, if one of our contracted nurses are available, but definitely with the CNA, certified nurse assistant, comes in and makes sure our caregivers upskilled in whatever the areas they need to be improved.
That's wonderful. And so this is a monthly.
It is monthly. Whatever's the month
ongoing.
is going on, there's something every month that we schedule in, and they're also open to our clients' families too.
Oh,
Because
how
of course,
nice.
we have this platform where we can send mass emails and flyers to our clients and the caregivers. So those classes also offer to clients adult children who wants to learn, or client themselves if they're able to come in and do it themselves.
And that's wonderful because they can see for themselves what you're training your
Correct.
caregivers, so they can do it for themselves too.
Imagine being an adult child to mom or dad who's going through this process. You have no idea how to deal with it, how we can shower an adult person who's resistant shower.
Right. And a lot of these I find, because I went through this myself with a family member that my dad was starting to get dementia, and I was fortunate I'm in the field, but most of these people are not.
No.
So they have no clue. They're going from, oh my word, I just found this out, and they don't even know what it means sometimes. Like
They're
the
forever
actual,
guilty.
yeah.
The adult children are forever guilty. That's one of the
Yes.
things this is as much as the physical aspects of the service we provide, like laundry, all of that, but we also provide that emotional support to adult children. Don't be guilty. This is the process, other people go through as well. We're here to help. We're skilled. We know what we're doing. Let us share with you, how you can deal with the decline of your mom's or dad's situation. And they really appreciate it.
Yeah, and what a better support group than the ones that are actually taking care of that individual, like your office, your caregivers, the one that's actually taking care of that individual. Because as you know, with certain diseases and conditions, they're individualized. They're not, they don't all portray the same way.
Absolutely not. Every case is individual. Every client is an individual, different needs. This is why our assessment, which we'll probably talk about it later on, is so important, because our program, our care plans are tailored to each individual. Not one glove fit all.
Yes.
But that's why we pride ourselves with the life profile assessment, that we can deliver that to our clients, and it's excellent. Again, another Senior Helpers investment into technology to make it easier for us, but also make it beneficial for the clients.
Yeah. What is the philosophy behind Senior Helpers and you personally, your company?
Sure, I'm passionate about customer service, and as a team here, we share the same mantra. Share your smile, know your stuff, and show you care. And I hope that shines through everything we do, from answering the phone to showing up the client's home and the individualized care plan we put together for them. We are extremely passionate about the quality of the service we deliver here in the office.
That's wonderful. I like those 3 points that you brought out. Stories that you want to share?
Sure. So I think I mentioned already, I'm very involved in my community. So I do a lot of volunteering in children's charities, as well as sponsored events for seniors. Another thing we have in the office, which our clients love, is the lending library. So I become this cool mom to my 2 boys that I'm constantly buying puzzles and different games. Remember I told you about how we keep seniors engaged?
Yes.
I have a huge stack of puzzles and different games that we have caregivers come in, do a little gift bag, take it to their clients, and then keep them engaged. But every now and then, my kids are also allowed to come and borrow them. So I become this whole mom constantly buying puzzles and games.
Yeah.
Another thing that, keeps us going, so helping seniors keep engaged and active in their own homes if they don't wish to go out.
What a great thing to provide.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's amazing. That really is. Anything else that you would like to bring out to families?
Sure. One of our biggest difference to other agencies is that Senior Helpers assessment tool called Life Profile. We are able to scan any senior in their homes and identify the risk of them going to hospital in the next 6 months.
Huh.
We look at 5 different areas: safety risk, medical condition, independence at home, quality of life, and burden of care. So we look at 144 risk factor at home.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's very
That
impressive.
is.
We punch in all the information the client given
Yeah.
us. We observe the house, and all that goes into this life profile tool. Then gives us a risk of that client ending up in a hospital and what kind of care they need to put together individualized care plan.
Right.
Is so important. Every
Yes.
client is unique. Every family is unique. Every goal of that client and family is different. And we can do that with this life profile tool.
Oh, wow. Now, have the family members been surprised? I can imagine some of them, like once you go through it and you have a report on
They
everything.
do. They're extremely impressed. They think like, how nobody ever done that to me. They
Yeah.
love me, pen and paper. This is new. And particularly adult children are very impressed because we can share the results with them. And that's their tool to talk to their mom and dad. Hey, look at this, mom and dad, because a lot of them resist. They don't think they need a care.
Yes,
But
I've
once,
seen that.
once you can produce a report, look, we looked
Right.
around your home, we looked at, we took all your answers down, and we believe you could do with some help. So
Wow.
that gives them that tool to talk to their parents, because it's a difficult conversation
Oh,
for
yeah.
adult children to tell their parents it's time, you could do with some extra help. But if they can show the data, hey, mom, look at this. This is what we said, and this is what the outcome is. Let's look into options of hiring in-home care help.
Wow. And I think that's wonderful too for extended family members, because I've seen this myself in this field where sometimes it's hard to convince everybody that mom or
Very
dad.
true. Oh, very, very true. Yeah. And when
so
there's like 7 siblings involved, and we can
yes.
email the results. So they don't all have to be in the same home, because it's very hard to get 7 siblings
Right.
together. But what we can do, we'll do our assessment, and then we can email the family members who wish to see the results. And this technology helps us produce this amazing report, which is, a fantastic tool, and no other providers providing that right
So
now.
many neat things that your company does that really fills in these gaps for families.
It is. And can I just mention one little thing
Sure.
too? Another thing I see in the field. So most of agencies, I get it, is COVID and, post-COVID and caregiver shortages, whatnot, but we don't mandate minimum hours for our clients. We go from 1-hour service to 24/7 service. We
That's
go with
new.
clients' budget, needs, and wants. Because not every client wants 5 hours a day with stranger in their home if they don't need to. And we
Right.
don't, that's the whole thing about life profile. We only provide what the client needs and wants and, can afford.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's another good point. Thank you for
It's
sharing
very,
that.
very important right now in the field, this minimum agencies mandating 4-hour, 5-hour minimum thing. And
I've seen individualized. You're able to know what actually is needed.
And I'm giving that empowerment to the other child to tell their parents, why don't we just give it a go? Let's do 1 hour a day, mom. Let's do 2 hours a day, mom. And they always build because they love it. They get to know it. And it's just amazing to see once the resistant parents gets the caregiver and the relationship's so good that they increase the hours because they want to do things with that caregiver outside the home.
Yes.
Want to spend more time. So it's just amazing to see it. That's why we don't mandate minimum hours.
And you brought up a good point when the relationship is good. So and you trust your caregivers that it's going to build on.
And one of the things we do also is not mandated by the state of Illinois, but we do that. We do a questionnaire getting to know you. We ask them their favorite foods, music they like, what programs they like to watch, what are their life accomplishment is. Because we ask the same questions to our caregivers during the process of hiring. So I am pretty good at matchmaking, let's say.
Yes.
And I do tell my clients, hey, I'm great at matchmaking. I've got to know you and I know all my caregivers. So I know who should be here But if any point, if it doesn't work for you, all you have to do is pick up your phone and say, she's wonderful, not for us. Because, you have to like the person in your home.
Oh, yeah. And there's so many different personalities and interests.
It is. And we give that flexibility.
Yeah.
And I do all my own assessments just because, even though I'm agency owner, that's another thing a lot of people surprises. Oh, you're the agency owner? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I make
Right.
sure I'm present in my assessments, and I make sure I'm present at my orientations,
Good
because
for
I want to
you.
know my caregivers. I want to know my clients. I don't want to just names on the paper.
Right.
So yeah.
Ah, good for you. Well, thank you for joining us and sharing your story with me and the different families out there.
Thank you for joining us, Kara, today and sharing with us a little bit about yourself and your company, Senior Helpers. I will leave a link below so that if anyone wants to contact you or has any questions for you, they'll be able to.